So while we're on the subject, what is everyone's opinion on the red sink?
Really?
It's very red.
Because I think it's so cool when I want to get another red sink and everyone thinks I'm crazy. Can we get a quick show of hands? Am I crazy? You haven't noticed? Nobody has noticed there's a bright red sink in our kitchen?
I have, it has mold to the last.
So, okay, so first I said to the contractor, I said, I want to keep this sink. And he's like, okay. And then I realized that that's probably not a good idea. So we're going to get rid of the old one. And I'm like about to hit order on the red sink. So take a look. And if anybody has any opinions, I would love.
How long has the red sink been there?
Forever.
Probably since the, so the property was renovated in like the 70s. It might be.
A long time.
So the front, the structure in the front was built in 1926.
Yeah.
And this whole addition was added in the 70s, I believe. I could be wrong on that. Maybe it's the 90s.
Sorry.
I'm a kitchen person. I love kitchens. So I would say as long as you're not gonna be tired of it, because red is such a.
I mean, I don't live here.
Well,
Pink? No, definitely not doing. I'm like almost, even if you guys said no, I probably would still get it. So, but no.
Sink without saying red though, that's.
Can I say sink without saying?
The kitchen sink without saying the kitchen red sink, the red kitchen sink.
I don't get it.
I don't know, it was in my head, it was funny.
Okay. All right, well, I'm gonna get started. Let me put,
you're getting the red sink.
So you said red, same, that's what I was, yeah. saying.
how come, oh, because I'm not the host. Who has, wait, Bridget or Max, did you guys sign in first? Because I'm not the host, I can't share my screen.
Donna, you got like 3 screens up.
Yeah, it's not really me though.
You're kidding. Shit.
Shut up, Nancy. All right, maybe I can share my screen. Where are my people at? Max, yeah, I don't like seeing my face so big.
We have to turn that off.
I'm, can Max and Courtney, not Courtney, Max and Bridget, can you guys please come back here and just pull chairs up? I don't know if they can hear me now, but I'm going to get started. So, nope, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to present. So I don't think I even need this. Well, I guess I'll leave the meeting on. So I wanted to, hi Roni.
Hello.
I haven't seen you today. It was nice. Welcome. So actually Tove and I were talking on, I don't know, Friday afternoon, I think. And we talked about the fact that I know you guys are going to be part of the presentation. Max, do you want to
Yes.
you can pull a chair up over here if you want, just so you can be near the screen. But anyway, so what Tove said to me is that something that I hadn't really thought of. And that is the fact that if you are a newer agent who maybe doesn't have as much experience when it comes to like speaking to listing agents and negotiation, it could be really a hard time. And I hadn't really thought about it because it's such a great time theoretically in the market as far as rates being low, everyone's moving to Florida, properties are going up and up. There's kind of like this frenzy around real estate. And so I thought it would be a good idea to talk a little bit about, because that's what we said, right? Is that, yeah.
A hard, I mean, if it takes like an experienced agent, you know, you're up against 7 other offers, that means you only have a 1 in 7 chance, let's say, or a 1 in 8 chance of getting the deal. You know, 2 years ago, it was like, you know, maybe you come up against 1 other offer, maybe.
Right. And so the reason why I thought this would be a good idea to talk about is because I was hoping we could use the opportunity to talk about, you know, best practices and some of the things that those of you guys that are getting your transactions and your offers accepted when you're representing buyers, you know, I kind of want to talk about that and talk about challenges. Like I know Anastasia and I were just talking in the kitchen.
Sorry, there's no parking.
That's okay. Should I stand? And then, ooh, Bridget, you want to sit here? This might be a little awkward for.
Sure.
Okay, so like Anastasia and I were just chatting in the kitchen about 2 offers, and I think I heard that it didn't go through in the end.
My voice reverberates in this place,
Yes.
so yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You have no, it's good. You have bold. I have one of those voices too.
Okay.
So don't feel bad. Anyway, so you want to maybe tell us what happened and we can talk a little bit about the offer situation?
Sure, yeah, so my name is Anastasia. Okay, so it was a fixer-upper, it was built, you know, back in the day in Boca Lago. And it was $319, we put in $330 cash, 30-day close because of the HOA.
And you still didn't get it? You went
Yeah.
11,000 over asking.
Yeah, 30-day close, and because of the HOA, and then we did 5% in escrow, 2,500 up front, the 16,500 after the 7-day inspection period. We did a 7-day inspection. We were beat out by a little bit higher, which I got to like figure out was like around 350, but it needs about like 90 grand of work. And they did a 1
But
year.
how did you figure out that the offer
Because
was?
she told me.
Okay.
Yeah, she told me, she's like, well, I would tell her that I like you, and I was like, okay, so accept the offer. So then they did a little bit more in escrow, I think it was like 10% in escrow, and then they did a 1-day inspection. So now moving forward, I'm just gonna do an escalation clause, and then like Tove said, I'm just gonna call the inspector, schedule it, and then just cancel it if like our offer falls through.
Okay.
But it was our, you know, but 350 when it needs like 100, like 90 to 100 grand of work, I mean.
So I think that's a huge difference. So what was the asking price?
319.
So 319 and the accepted offer was 350, but that's a fixer upper.
It is.
So that's most likely like one of the deals that we try to buy for Pilo. And there's a lot of competition when a home like that is on the MLS.
Yeah, and it's 55 plus too, which right now, I don't know if people know, it's like really difficult for like the 55 plus market. It's been like insane.
How do you mean difficult? Because there's not a lot of.
There's just so many offers, and as soon as something's
So-
on the water, it's like,
55?
yeah, it's gone.
Yesterday, the offer that I got accepted, this was my 5th offer that I took for the standby.
Fifth offer.
Yeah, this has been my second.
I never wanna go over the asking price.
So, okay, so it sounds like, so even our experienced agents like you, Maria, like you have to make, so I think from an expectation standpoint, if you're a newer agent theoretically, and maybe haven't had that experience, I want you guys to have that expectation. But I also want to say a disclaimer that it really does depend on the price point and it depends on where, right? So what can I ask, what price point are you?
350, but
Right.
I always do 10%, even for 100,000 or whatever.
But 350 is like, it's like the sweet spot is,
300 to 500 is always gonna be
Yeah.
the most difficult.
Yeah.
to get under.
350.
So
so
I should do 10% escrow
10%
instead of 5. Okay.
is there anything else that anyone does that they found has been successful in helping? Yeah, Sheila.
I know people say letters, and it's true. The one we're closing tomorrow, they had 7 offers on the property, and we said they wanted to be there because their family was in the neighborhood. We told their story, and they picked us because of that. Also, we didn't go a long time on inspection period.
Did you guys hear that? Those of you that are on Zoom, what Shayla was saying is that she wrote a letter that said that they wanted to live there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is why we want the property, because.
Right.
Yeah.
So my only concern about that as a broker, there are some, it's not exactly okay. It's
Fair housing.
supposed to be, it's a possible fair housing violation. So, and
It's a new thing that just came out, right? Love letters aren't allowed.
it just came out, yeah, like recently. But you know what I would say, Shayla, I still think it's a good idea, but I don't know that I'd put it in writing. So I think my recommendation, if somebody were to ask me, like what my tips were as far as how to make sure my offer was accepted, I almost always try to build a rapport. Like I was telling Anastasia in the kitchen, that if a listing agent says jump, I jump. Like, what do I do to get this done? You want a shorter inspection period? Sure, I'll do 3 days. Whatever they say, so that if I'm competing against other offers. Now, it really depends, because if you're not, then I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah, I also try to like tell every buyer that even if it's not a multiple offer situation yet, to just act as if it's a highest and best situation and don't necessarily, not saying like go above asking immediately if it's not warranted, but like don't figure, I'll pay 350, so I'm gonna put in at 340 and see. what
Right,
happens.
right.
Just put your best foot forward, your tightest terms, your best offer, and And see if that doesn't work out, then at least we try.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. But I think it's also our job is like more important than ever. And what I mean by that is we need to really understand whatever the market is as far as where we're working and be able to inform our buyers. Because previously a buyer could make an offer at 340 with an expectation that they're going to come up to 350.
Yeah, for sure.
Now you can't.
That's
because-
what I'm saying.
yeah.
It's like, it's just different now.
But what I'm saying is we have to educate ourselves, right? So depending on who your buyer is and what the price point is, it doesn't always ring true. So I think you just said that anything over 500.
I think it's a different animal completely.
It's going a little bit.
But I've still had like in the last 6 months, like deals that are, 700 to 900 that had multiple offers.
Yeah.
We needed escalation clause in order to win.
Yeah, I think so too. Does
I
any-
offered to pay title before for the seller
Yeah,
as well. You
One
know,
other thing that-
cutting their costs.
Yeah.
It's not just the price, their bottom net.
so Shayla is saying that she's offered to pay title. I think that's helpful. The other thing that I was saying to Anastasia that I like to do is you have to kind of assume that the other agent, I mean, all people, not, well, yes, I was gonna say that people are lazy. I know I'm lazy, meaning if an agent says, let me get this done for you, like if they submit an offer to me, I'm a listing agent and it says 7-day inspection. And then when I said I want 5, if they rewrite it, make it clean and send it to me, it's that much easier for me to have my seller sign. So, and when there's just one offer, you don't need to do that. But what I'm saying is if you can make the other agent like you because they know that you're going to facilitate that transaction, make their life easy, you're clear to communicate with, I think those are all helpful things. Does anybody else have any best practices when it comes to getting our offers accepted?
Is it acceptable to have the lender call the listing
Yeah.
agent?
Yes, that's another great tactic is if it's a finance transaction, to have your lender get involved by calling the listing agent and communicating your buyer's worthiness as far as, they've got great credit and a great job and that's communicated to the seller, that seller is going to feel that much more comfortable. Another option is to have your contract considered cash. So does everyone know what that means? So even if you're getting a loan, you can still have it be considered as cash, which means that there's no out. So if your loan doesn't come through, the escrow deposit is lost versus with financing, it's contingent on financing, which means that if they don't get the loan, they get their escrow back. So any other comments? Yes, Anthony.
One of the things I heard was that so if you have the buyer and you're trying to make the buyer's offer look better, is that the buyer pays commission, all commission. The buyer will pay buyer's agent and selling agent's commissions.
I have not heard that.
Yep.
I don't like that at all. The reason why I don't like it is because, first of all, I never want to bring up commission because then the commission numbers are usually pretty big, even on a $300,000 loan, 6% is $18,000. That's a lot of money. And then all of a sudden the buyers and sellers start looking at you and saying, well, Anthony, you're making $9,000. Can you drop it to 8? And now we have a deal. I do not bring up commission. That's my 2 cents. Take it or leave it. I would not bring up commission.
I just.
Jordana?
You want to go, Anthony?
I lost.
Don't play with my money. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I lost the listing because of that. I didn't know that they were going to, the listing agent put in the listing that the buyer's agent has to pay all the commission. And really, I understand where you're coming from, but what's the difference if they're going to pay, like on Pine Villa, they pay $25,000 over appraisal, or they're paying $15,000 over ask? What's the difference if they're paying $15,000 over ask or they're paying $15,000 towards commission?
Well,
It's-
if I can for a second.
Yeah, Mr. Ken, talk to us.
Instead of saying paying for commission, I just got a contract accepted because I said that they would contribute towards their closing costs, which essentially is paying
Commission.
some of the commission.
Right.
And I think by wording it that way, it's a direct savings to the seller instead of going 25 grand over, where it's basically being split by multiple parties.
That's a good strategy. The other strategy is so yes, we can do all those things, and the escalation clause is a good one. That's a little bit more complicated, but it is really effective. Okay, let me. go
I
through the.
think the state might have just released an official escalation clause
I was
also,
gonna say they have.
like an actual form. Until then, I was using one that a lawyer wrote for me and I was just.
We
filling it
have one, that CJ, I'm pretty sure it was a state
in.
one,
I
like,
think there's a farm.
yeah, there is a farm. Yeah. Yeah, I think we have it on Drive because CJ had shared it with us. Actually, Ivana, didn't you use one? Or that was a while ago, an escalation clause? You're on mute.
We have it.
We have it, right? Yeah, we have,
It's a really
But
good-
I also think
Right.
that now transaction desk, you have a form for escalation clause.
okay, so yeah, we can search for it. Does anybody else have any, while we're on this topic of kind of like best practices, any challenges that they want to bring up or anything that you've done that has helped you facilitate?
I think the challenge I've faced in the last like year is like, insurance market. It's like-
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
It's crazy.
when I first got into the business, there were so many carriers that if you had a shitty roof or something like that, you could pay them to bind the policy.
Yeah, but not
Within
anymore.
the first 40 days, there's nothing anymore. There's one carrier. There's
Citizens.
just Citizens for like everything, and if it has a bad roof, they're not taking it.
Mhm.
Well, so with Citizens recently, I closed on a deal where the roof had like a year life expectancy, and they did it. They found the policy, but obviously the premium was a lot higher.
Yeah, I've
So-
seen ones for like, instead of $3,000, it's 15,000.
Yeah, well, I mean, so the buyers are a little skeptical and hesitant, so what I told them to get the deal closed, they already had the expectation in mind that they were gonna replace the roof.
Right.
So I was like, look, you gotta keep in mind, your premium's gonna be higher, so go ahead and close, but you're gonna replace the roof within the first 60 to 90 days anyway, so as soon as you do that, the
It'll
premium's
go.
gonna drop.
Yeah.
So if you wanna feel a little more comfortable, why don't you ask the insurance broker also what the difference is gonna be in premium after you replace the roof, so you can see that significant drop, so you get a little more peace of mind. And that helped me to get the deal closed because they were a little hesitant with the roof situation. Sometimes just about positioning also that makes a difference.
I'm
Yeah,
surprised with
I think
that
that-
1 year life, you were still able to
Yeah,
get it.
yeah,
That's pretty
yeah.
surprising.
Sellers don't care either. They're like, they can pay.
And
Yeah,
Here's what I realized too, and you know, I do a lot of, actually not a lot, I do most of my inspections twice.
Yeah.
You know, I send a specific email to the buyer stating, look, here's a list of inspection companies. Most of my recent buyers have used Wise Home and had a great experience with Michael, right? Because now I'm giving them the option to choose other companies, but
Yeah.
I'm also positioning great ones that I believe in. Michael's very thorough, especially when I'm doing out-of-state buyers, everything through FaceTime. He's extremely thorough. He's available through phone calls. He explains everything. He gives, you know, pricing on repairs, this and that. But Michael and others from Wise Home, even if the roof has like a year left, they do state that there's maybe 3 to 4 years life expectancy, so they can get the insurance as long as the buyer has that expectation and understand like, hey, I'm letting you know you're gonna have to replace the roof, but for you to get the policy and be able to move forward, I can state that you have 3 or 4 years left. A lot of agents nowadays or insurance agents, they're doing that all over the place.
yeah.
I see it everywhere.
Are you
Not just
guys-
with Wise Home, but with everybody.
Those of you on Zoom, did you guys hear that? Because that was some interesting. Anthony's shaking now. So Yanni was explaining that when he recommends his inspectors, he's had success using Wise Home inspections to give us a little bit more life expectancy in the roof and also setting the expectation with the buyers that once the repairs are made, the premiums will go down. So actually, speaking of roofs, roof, I don't know, whatever, the plural of roof, which is not really related, but Anthony and myself and Michael Conti, I don't know if he's on the call, are dealing with some interesting permit issues. And I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about it because it's a good kind of learning experience as far as how do you deal with open permits or inactive permits. So the property that is Michael Conti on this call?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, hi.
Hey.
So the property that we're under contract for with the property that we're under contract for Pilo, the person that owned it passed away and left it to the sister. And when we did a bill of tax report first. And then the lien report came back and showed permits from 1992, was it?
Yeah.
1992 and then like 2015 or something.
Right. And so that's an interesting conversation, right? Because if the seller isn't alive anymore, how do you get those permits closed and what do you do? How do you instruct your buyer? Does the buyer close? And that, in this case, it's us, right? Do we close and have to get stuck with dealing with these open permits? So do you guys want to share, anyone, Michael or Anthony, a little bit about what we figured out about the permits?
Does everybody know when you need a permit and what to look for? I mean, from a permit point of view, like when you're looking at a property and you're listing a property, you know, you need to look and see, you need to ask that question. If there were any permits pulled and what they're for. I mean, you know that when to pull a permit, right? Is there, Jordana, do you think?
No, they
knows?
probably don't. So let's hear. No, everyone's here, please.
So, when you pull a permit, it's basically, I mean, everybody should know, like, if you're gonna change the footprint of the property for additions and things of that nature, obviously you're gonna need a permit, right? But you also need a permit when you're doing any type of electrical, like upgrading an electrical panel, air conditioners, if you're moving any plumbing, roof, windows, doors, things of that nature, you need a permit. So when you're talking at a listing, you need to ask that question is, did you do any work? And did you do any work without a permit? Or did you do permits and they weren't closed out? Do you know of anything did your contractor close them out? Which means that if they pulled the permit on the property, the inspector had to come out, take a look at the property and then approve it, making sure that it was done correctly, and then they would close the permit out. On this property that Jordana is bringing up in Boynton that Michael got, we had what's called, and I honestly never came across this in my career, is something called a decal permit. And never heard, anybody know what a decal permit is?
Has anyone ever heard of a decal permit? Tove has.
It's like where the company has like permission to do installs for an AC without doing an inspection. They're just like trusted by the county. They can put a sticker on it, it's inspected.
Wow.
Exactly. Certain plumbing, HVAC, certain companies can pass an approval process with the county and get whoever that was talking, get a decal. And that decal that they place on there is actually the inspection approval. But it never really it'll say decal permit open, but it doesn't ever say closed, which is what threw us off. Besides the fact that they ran the lien report on the wrong unit, which is another.
Well, so hold on, 'cause I want to back up for 1 second, Anthony. And does everyone know what a build fax is? Do you want to explain? Anthony, you want to explain what a build fax is?
Yeah, build fax is basically, and it's becoming a little bit more popular. I have it. I have an unlimited use for it. Where I can give you guys. It's called build fax. Wait, what's the?
Well, like CJ does it with JK. They pull the build fax first. But sorry, I'm interrupting.
But that basically what a build fax does is it tells you the history of the permit history on the property. Very, very rare will it tell you if there's any code violations or any fines or liens against the property, but mostly it's done for permit history. So when I pull a build fax or CJ pulls a build fax, it tells us the history of the property. So we know what's open, what's not open.
Is it almost like a Carfax? Is that a thing?
Exactly.
So it's almost like a soft credit pull is how because it's not official. But like we do it, Anthony, when we're looking at properties for Pilo, we'll do it so we have an understanding, like, does this property have a ton of like open permits or issues that we don't want to move forward with? But it's not.
It'll also tell you how old the roof is, because if you see that a permit was pulled on a roof in 2013, then you know the roof's 8 years old. Right?
Right. So, but it's not the same as a lien search. That's something different. A municipal lien search is when you contact the municipality and find out what is actually on record. So two different things. So in this case with the property with Michael, we saw the decal permits, which we had never heard of. So we learned about that, which in this case doesn't really apply. Well, it doesn't apply because it was on a different unit and somehow came up in our report, right? That was weird. And then the other thing wasn't there an electrical permit that was open, or I forgot.
There were some other permits, but the bottom end of the story is that I believe we had the decal permit on our unit, and we're buying A, and B had I don't remember which one it was, but everything turned out to be closed. And it was just a lot of confusion on unit A or unit B. So
right. The other thing is that Michael, the seller in this case, She sees the report and she starts panicking. She calls Michael and says, well, what am I going to do? How do I close the permits? So it's important, you guys, all of us have to kind of be prepared to answer those questions when someone calls and says, how do I close out a permit on my house? And so my response, and Michael asked me, well, what do I do? And so the deal is that it's different for every property at whatever city it's in. There's different rules, there's different requirements, whether it's the county. I once bought a property in Tequesta, and Tequesta is half in Palm Beach, half in Martin. I ended up having to go to Martin County for half my permits and half the permits for the village of Tequesta. It took me 18 months to renovate this thing. It was a disaster. But I'm telling you, the reason why I'm saying that is because it's going to be unique to each property. So I told Michael, get on the phone and call Boynton Beach and ask them. The building department will give you all the information you need. Normally, the answer is if there's an open permit, the work has to be completed. The final inspection has to be done and it has to be signed off and up to code, which could be thousands of dollars. In this case, we're buying the property to renovate it and there is no open permit, so we're fine. But I just want you guys to know so that if you go under contract representing a buyer and there are open permits or inactive permits, what should you do? And my response usually is get on the phone and get the information, right? Not from me or anyone else, call the county, call the city and ask for the building department.
And don't be, and make sure you ask a lot of questions because it could be county. And then like Jordana says, it drills down to the city. An example of that, like first off, a lot of people, most Broward County and Palm Beach County will always mimic what Miami-Dade does, right? Miami-Dade always sets the precedence. They're the hardest. And then Palm Beach and Broward will follow suit. Then when you drill down, if you're in the city, for an example, every city has their own level of permitting. Coral Springs, you have to get a paint permit. Nobody else has a paint permit.
That's crazy. Paint your house?
Yeah, to paint your house, you got to get a permit. Also when you go and you're going to do it, to get a permit, you're going to need, if you're going to get it from scratch, you're going to need engineering drawings. You're going to need to get also, it's called DOM, not days on market, but detail of material. DOM is details of material. So when you submit for a permit on the application, you not only have to tell them what you're doing, how you're doing it, who's insured to do it, but then you also have to give them all the material that you're using for the most part, the big stuff, the detail of material, the specs of the material, the age of the material for roofs, for windows, what's the wind gust for hurricane, all these different things, depending on what you're going for, has to be in a file given to them. And then even like on the Ainsley property that we're I'm down to, you have two, you also have to be careful, like Jordana said about the Tequesta property. Some of them are in one area, some of them are in another.
Right.
In Boca, you got unincorporated and you got incorporated. So some of the shit went to Boca, some of it went to the county. So
hold on. Let me just explain a little bit what happened with Ainsley. So Ainsley is one of our PLO deals that we're doing at Century Village. Right. And we started the work and then all of a sudden we get a knock on the door. That's something else to think about if you're working with an investor or a buyer that wants to renovate a condo association. Forget about the city and the county. Now the association is involved. So then you have this. So it has cost us $5,000 more than we initially expected because we had to get an engineer. So understand these permits, it's a much bigger, there's a lot that's involved, but sometimes it's not a lot. It really depends, and which is why you need to have some knowledge of how this works and who to go to. Right.
So now on the Ainsley, not everybody has that. When you open up a permit in the city, for example, in the city of Boca, everybody's got their hand out. So now it's not only all the building department, but then school, police, and fire have to approve the permit, which is
unbelievable. Those children want money. I mean, what is going on?
Everybody wants a piece of the food. So right now I'm down to the last one, which is fire. I'm just waiting for the fire to come through.
Wow.
And usually the fees are approximately 1% of the work that you're doing. That's a ballpark if you want to get an idea of what you're looking at as far as fees are concerned. So
I didn't know that. That's good to know.
Yeah, rule of thumb.
What does it cost to switch from electric to gas?
That's a
Depends if gas is available.
yeah.
If you need a variable.
I can't hear.
be, $5,000 to $10,000. If you just need to put a gas line
Just in
from
the
the
kitchen,
street to the
yeah.
house, that could be
Some
far less.
associations don't allow that.
Okay, so thank you, Anthony, first of all, for giving us all that great information. I appreciate it. I'm gonna kind of keep going with the presentation, but I also wanted to let you guys know that from the perspective of how the agendas work for our meetings on Tuesdays, I'm gonna try really hard to keep the first 30 minutes or so, like market updates, general real estate stuff, for those of you guys that are in the core program and aren't necessarily working leads. And then kind of the end of the meeting will be lead stuff. Because Courtney, we have some stuff we want to share with you about some changes in sync, which we'll talk about in a minute, but just kind of a heads up moving forward. First 30 minutes are market, contracts, general, and the next 30. So if anyone needs to step out, if they're not in sync, that's fine for the second 30 minutes. So we took a poll and everyone agreed that rather than having any sort of congratulatory messages in the main chat, it will be in a Slack channel that says congratulations. So you can join that chat and then choose to turn on or turn off your notifications. In general, the in-office chat, it's a really good one to have your notifications turned on, because there are things that are happening like in the moment, whether it's a meeting that's starting, a new lead opportunity. So my recommendation would be to turn that on. We have a separate channel for congratulations now. There's a separate legal channel that CJ is in. If you need any legal stuff. There is a lender channel if you need lender questions. There is a separate channel for announcements. And the reason why I put that in is because the chat can have a lot of stuff happening with conversations, and the announcements is so that only the announcements are there, nothing else. Yeah.
Sometimes if I don't have Wi-Fi, I can't.
Yeah.
I don't receive Slack.
Yeah, so that happens to me too. I will be in an area without Wi-Fi, and then all of a sudden I'm in Wi-Fi and there's 15 Slack messages. But I still do encourage everyone to continue to use Slack, the in-office chat. The more communication, the better. So don't be shy about that, but just also know about the different channels. Our August goals. So we, again, are crushing our goals. Our goal is about 7. We're at about 12 of actual, that includes pending. So if you have an August pending transaction, why are you laughing? It's so awesome. We're amazing. So if you have an August file that's pending for August, push to get it closed so we can stay on track for our goal. Last meeting, we increased our goals for the rest of this year to 10,500,000 for the rest of this year. So did you put September? Yes, here we go. So we're short of September. In September, this goal should not say 8, it should say 10.5. We are.
The next one.
Oh. Bridget's just so amazing. Anyway, okay, so we do need another about 2.5 million. So, however, as much as I would love for all $12 million that we have pending in August to close, it's possible that of that, a little bit will move over, which will reduce this amount. But either way, great numbers. So yeah.
I was talking to my, I used to work for ERA,
Uh-huh.
and the lady would do mortgage. She was like, we have nothing for September. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
So,
Well, she's with the wrong office, clearly.
But she's like,
So speaking of which, so this is our beautiful, what is this? Tracker that is showing the rest of the year. Hopefully we'll hit our goal of 120 million. If you haven't already started thinking about something fun for us to do at the end of the year, I would love any ideas. I'm thinking like a black tie event would be really cool.
on a yacht.
Wouldn't that be fun to get like really So if anybody has any contacts that can hook us up with some fun end of the year party, but we had to get close to 120 million. Another thing that's going to help us get to 120 million is bringing on the right team members, like-minded agents that are producers that want to be a part of an office like ours. So just a reminder that we do have our recruiting incentive. So anyone that you guys come across in your day-to-day, you can pass their information. At this point, all of us are kind of all hands on deck, just so you guys know what's happening in our world. Bridget's working hard. Did you guys see that video she created, the PL Assist video? Bridget made a really cool video that kind of features some of our programs. We email blasted out. We had 9 applications from it, which is awesome. So Max then takes those calls, reaches out to them, introduces himself, talks a little bit about us, passes it to Courtney and or me, soon just Courtney. Irrelevant, but anyway, so yeah, but if you guys have anyone that you think would be a fit, any of us can really talk to them, whether it's me or Courtney or Max. Oh, so I actually asked Max and Bridget to kind of be guest speakers today, because I thought it'd be really nice for us to learn from our savviest of the savvy, our tech savvy peeps, as far as some apps that they use, other cool things that are available right now that we can use to be more productive and to be more cool. Is that a word? To be more cool?
Do you have an app too? Or no?
I do have an app, but I'm gonna let you go first.
So, hi. My app is Hi Hello. Have any of you guys heard of this?
It's set to 74, but it's 76.
So you can set it up on your desktop if you didn't want to download the app. But I find it, I guess now we can. I find it really helpful, like, on the back of my business card, on the back of my actual business card, I have the QR code. So when I hand my actual business card, I have the QR code. Be honest. So when I hand my business card out, I point out that I have the QR code. So when I hand my business card, I point out that I have the QR code on the back. When you scan it on Zoom, so it's like my picture, it says like on Zoom, so it's like my picture, it has all my contact info, and at the bottom, all my contact info, and at the bottom, because I'm looking at it on mine, on the bottom of it, it'll say save contact. On the bottom of it, it'll say save contact. It adds my whole, entire contact info, like all of the phone numbers and emails and websites. Like I have on here, I have Premier Listing Search for Homes. Follow us on Instagram. Like I have on here, LinkedIn. I have Premier Listing Search for Homes. Follow us on Instagram. Connect me on LinkedIn.
It's not you, it's somebody else. You turn the volume back on. It's not you, it's I think it's Diana. Can you mute your phone, please?
Yeah, see this now,
Here, I can mute her.
So I just want to make sure I understand. So basically, when you meet somebody and they scan your code, they get your information?
It's like the menu when you go to the restaurant.
Yeah, basically, here, I'll pull this
How
up.
do you get the code though?
So when you create your Hi Hello, it creates the QR code for you, and you can actually download it.
So the app is Hi Hello.
Yeah, and you can download it in the App Store on Apple and Android.
Turn the volume back on.
My question is, is it gonna prompt them to download the app or you're?
No, it just comes up. It comes up just like this at the bottom.
Just
All right.
your contact.
So like the bottom will have this purple button because this is my card, it won't let me save, but it says save contact. And then once you click it, it opens like your iPhone contacts and it'll fill out all my information, just save right there.
Just an app that anybody.
It's
can
for
have?
free too. Yeah, anyone can get it, iPhone, Android.
So Bridget,
And my sync customers really like it, because when I end my call and I say, I'll send you my virtual card,
so you send the hi, hello?
I send the hi, hello.
Yeah, you can also text it. You text it or email.
Yeah, text it.
Yeah, like if I have it saved too, Courtney gave me the idea. You guys can set up, have you guys done, what is it called? Automated text? Or like text saver. So anytime if I'm gonna text someone, I just type hi, hello, and my business card comes up and I can just send it straight away. So it shows up as like my picture, and when they click on it again, it just says save contact info.
So you can set that up in sync so that you can text them from.
Yeah, you could text, like, you could set up a template called like hi, hello, or whatever you wanted to call it, and then when you send the
Just make it
template out.
private, so it's only, so no one else can see it, because otherwise, like, you know, Howard will send hi, hello, and it'll be yours.
No, no, that's from the people in our bucket, right? Who, like we've talked to in our people.
Yeah, she's saying if you make the template,
Make
just
your
make it
template
private.
private.
Oh, got it.
I'm saying, yeah, when you send it out to your people in your bucket, or even in the pond, it's fine if you send out your information. My request is when you make the template, just make it a private template. So the other thing that's cool about hi, hello, if it's a QR code and you hand someone your card, you don't have to necessarily give them the card, right? So they're just
He still have to scan it. there are like hardware versions.
Right, so
of
I
it,
was
like a
researching the
plastic
hardware
card.
version, but they're like $100, and this is.
Yeah, and well, I
found a
feel
few
like,
that are 20, like 10 to 20 bucks for like a plastic card, and all you do is tap it to the back. of
Yeah,
your
I've
phone,
seen
and that
those
same
too.
thing pops up.
I
So
feel
that's
like,
almost like a better, like a little bit of a step up that.
Yeah, but you have to be in person.
You have to be in person.
So that
Exactly.
instead of giving someone your card and expecting that they're gonna take out their phone and scan the QR code, you're just like tap it to the back of their phone. It uses near field connection and it just shows up. and
As a contact.
All they have to do is click add and that's it.
I love that.
Yeah.
So like the two
How do you
together
save
are
the
really
text
good.
message? How do you save the text where you can type like hi, hello? and it
it's in
comes up?
settings. I can actually make a video on it one day.
One day.
But if you go into settings and you just search up here, text replacement, it's called.
Oh, text replacement.
Yeah. In settings, yeah.
So you can make a video of your screen, like you can.
Yeah, screen
Yeah,
sharing
yeah.
or screen
If you-
recording.
They're like, obviously.
Yeah, it's like one of these buttons.
So that's a great app.
Yeah, so that's hi, hello.
What do you guys think? Is that an app that you guys use?
Yeah,
Especially if it's
great.
free. I
Yeah.
mean, I actually like somehow, I think on Instagram or something, there was an ad for the digital card, the one that you were talking about, Toby, where you just tap it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this would be awesome, but then it's like $100. This makes a lot more
Yeah,
sense.
I like that idea, but then I think about like people, if you're out and about and like, it's quicker to just hand them a card and say, oh, here's my QR code on the back, instead of like, I mean, I would lose the thing, I already know, like my $100 titanium card, so. But they're both really cool.
Yeah, or the $20 one, do you know what that one is, so we can
Yeah,
share?
I sent it to you. I think there's one company, Dot. and
Oh,
they're-
Dot,
they're
yeah,
20
I've heard of
bucks. It's
Dot.
just like a plastic, like.
Like,
it's
to me,
it's
that's-
like
I
the
think
thickness of
Dot
two
even
credit
has like an
cards.
Apple Watch.
They have a watch
Yeah.
band that has a thing on it. They
Oh
have
my
like
God,
little
like
dots to
confident
put on the
people.
back. of
Yeah,
your
you just fucking.
thing. And they even have like an.
Is there like a
open
tracker
house.
that you could like shove into your bloodstream?
They have like an open
Like a
house
chip.
stand.
They
You're
can
like,
scan my eyeball.
You can get that.
I don't want
Yeah, it's just a good way to keep up, like with everyone on the internet and stuff. So.
Yay, that's a cool app. Okay, Max's app, and then my app, and then we're gonna vote on whose app is best. Sorry, I just made that up, but that sounds like fun. I grew up with a lot of brothers and everything was a competition, like who's gonna be the fastest? I was never the fastest.
Hello, everyone. Today, I'm gonna walk you through two of my favorite platforms or application. The first one is gonna be something that we're all very familiar with, but for me, Gmail is the greatest thing that happened since they created computers. And I'm gonna tell you why. So, not to give out how old I am, but I used to work with Microsoft Office since 1995. And there was some
I
time.
still use Microsoft Office.
I do too.
I use it Microsoft Office.
I don't actually, and I stopped liking them because they just full of bugs and
Do you remember the paperclip? That would just be really annoying.
Who you
yeah, I'm
That's really funny. I haven't thought about that.
With the eyeballs.
Yeah.
I'm still traumatized from that, so I don't use it. Gmail it happened to be the platform that we all sign up for on my own Premier listings, and it's really way more than an email. It's pretty much your computer in the cloud. So
And they just added like 5 new features.
exactly,
Yeah.
and that's what made me want to talk about it. I noticed that a lot of people just use the email from Gmail, but it's pretty much a whole your virtual computer, and you don't need to have a very advanced type of computer or laptop. You can just access it literally from everywhere, and because it's cloud computing, so all the computing has been done on the cloud. All that you have to do is an internet connection. So real quick, I'm just gonna show you, because I do transaction as well, I really need to have everything is organized, and they give you a drive, and this drive is very flexible. You can literally create your own segmentation, your own files. I keep all of my deals in almost like something like a virtual desk. So inside of it, you can use a lot of these features in here. You can also cooperate with other team members. So me and Jordana sometimes log into the same application and to say
I make them do a lot.
we also do that. So like it
I'm
literally
like, hey guys, here's a new tracker. Everyone's like, every day.
and then the best part about it is like you literally don't have to save anything on your computer, and being an agent and you're always on the go, sometimes you have to use some people's computer that is not yours. So instead of just downloading stuff or like looking for stuff, you can literally find everything on the cloud. So that's the first part, which is the storage.
Wait, before you leave the first part, I also want to make sure everyone knows that everyone has the Premier Listings folder, access to that on Drive, because that's where you can find things like our logo. If you want to pull it up, if you just go into search, I use the search bar, and I'm the one that organized the Drive, meaning if you can't find something and you're looking for something, use the search, whether it's like letterhead, you had asked for letterhead last week. My recommendation is go into your Google Drive, drive.google.com, as long as you're logged into your company email, accessing our Drive. And you type in letterhead, it'll more than likely pop up. And if you guys haven't spent, you might as well like click through some of these things. There are some really nice resources for you. We even have a couple of books on PDF in here. There are marketing pieces, our listing documents. If you ever need something for your sellers, we have a listing checklist.
I want to point out a really important folder in here actually too, the administrative folder. It has like all of our stuff in there, like W-9,
Copy of my
wire
license.
instructions, office license number, all that good stuff.
Is it right here, administrative?
Administrative.
I also, all of our presentations and trainings are every single week when we do a presentation, if something is on the document, and you're like, oh, I want that link or whatever, they're all available to you. It's under the office meeting folder.
Awesome. So one thing I want to show you real quick is, so when you're outside and you're using a computer that is not yours, not to take you through my email, but there's a feature that I really like, which is you can pretty much save straight up from your email. You can just pretty much save it into the Drive. So as I showed you before, I have all of my deals organized. So when I want to save something, all that I have to do, instead of downloading it on a computer and leaving it on a random computer, you can just organize it and you can just save it with everything that you have created in the folder, and you can access it from your phone, and no matter what your phone, some people use Apple, some people use Android, so you can access these files pretty much. It's an app, so you can download the app on your phone and you can have all these files ready, or you can just log in from any browser. It might seem a little bit like basic, but when you start working from multiple places and you have a lot of files, it will be very useful. So these are the most common apps. The Docs is going to be the equivalent of Microsoft Word, and it has everything inside of it. And the very good part about that is that once you finish creating a file, if you're trying to send it from someone to someone from the 80s and they wanted to have it in Microsoft Word, you can actually save it as a Microsoft Word and you can send it to them. You can save it as a text. So it can be, it's very flexible on the files that you can create. So that will be the Word, and then Sheets will be the equivalent of Excel. Slides is going to be the equivalent of PowerPoint. Of course, you have your calendar.
Well, click on calendar for a second. I want to make sure, because sometimes people ask about links. This is where the links are for all of our trainings. So if you ever are looking for the Zoom link, that's where you would find it.
Absolutely. And you can create multiple calendars in here. You can just, if you have a calendar on your Apple phone, you want to import it in here, you can.
So you could have different appointments. You could have like your personal appointments like separate, so that, and then just unclick it, depending on what you want to see in the view that you're in.
Like as you can see in here, I have Jordana's calendar on mine. So, and if you can just easily toggle between the different calendars that you have. So I really encourage you to just use everything in here. There's also, they have their own Zoom, which is Meet, and you can also save all of your photos. If you have like Also, if you're taking photos of properties, you can also create folders for the properties inside the photos. And then you can have multiple ways of sharing them. That's a quick overview about.
You want to just quickly show the sharing tool is nice for those of you guys that are putting all your folder, all of your, like, let's say photos in one folder. You just share one link, the link to that folder. So if you don't know how to do that, that's an important one. If you are trying to send a lot of photos to a client, I would do it through a Google link.
Absolutely, you can get a link for that, and then you can copy the link, and then you can pick up what can they do with it. They can open it or they can edit it for folder and for file. If you guys want, we can do an extended version of Gmail later on. But the next thing that I want to talk about real quick, which is my second favorite app, which is
That's
Platform.
not fair. You got 2 apps
Yes.
for the competition.
Yeah. So what I'm
You can
gonna
log into me if you want.
log in with Google.
I'm
I
already logged in.
mentioned while you're logging in on the Google, that's worked really well for me, is that when you're virtually showing somebody and they're FaceTiming perhaps, you quick run through with the video, but then you've got the videos of the properties in a Google folder and send it to them along with any like contracts to show them what's going on or buyer home plan or whatever. And it works really well for people out of state because everybody doesn't have the same kind of phone where the video will go through kind of.
Oh, so you mean, when you take the video, you put it on Drive and then send,
Yes.
that's cool. And then they have everything for that.
Everything.
And it's all
from you,
organized.
And they're like, oh, thank goodness, otherwise emails are flying all over, they got a million text messages and it just organizes the info. It works really well.
Very cool.
Nice. Yeah, Gmail is pretty much Google's gonna take over the business applications, so everyone's gonna be using that. So the second thing is Canva. Canva is my favorite app because it actually made designing available and easy for everyone. Before, we used to use Adobe Photoshop and it's very complicated and you have to go through layers and stuff. And then someone told me about that and I was like, oh my God, does this thing
And just so you
exist?
guys know, like, even like large enterprises use Canva. Like Canva is no joke. Everyone uses Canva. No joke.
Pretty much, yeah. It's I see a lot of people on Instagram and mainly most of the people. I mean, you can use it for pretty much everything, but most of the people are using it for social media. It's fast. It's on the go. You can use multiple things.
I've made postcards on it and they will print them and send them to you.
There you go.
That's where I got my business card.
Mhm.
That's what we're set up to create that. So.
I use an Instagram everywhere.
For Canva,
Oh,
it is honestly it kind of like brought designing to the people, and even if you're absolutely, and even if you're advanced like Bridget, you can do very advanced stuff with Canva. So
Did
it's
you do the
not.
video on Canva?
No.
And you can also design presentations from that, so you don't only
Yeah, a
have
lot of the ones that we do are through Canva.
Yeah.
animation.
When you go here, like to create a design, they have so many like pre-set out, like presentation, Instagram post, Facebook cover, like everything you can imagine. And then, but the key part of it is like, if you're not a graphic designer, there's a templates section like right up here. And it has social media, personal, like postcards, business, it's got like everything in here. So you could just go through, like if you maybe weren't feeling inspired for your social media posts today and just went to social media Instagram posts, like here's a million Instagram posts that you can just have for free. And you can like personalize them. So like if I pulled this one up, I can like change it to say like selling homes or whatever. So yeah, they're all customizable and a lot of them are free. So,
Or they're $1. Sometimes I'll use one that's and then you get to just download the image for $1.
Real quick, I'm just gonna
We have like 5 minutes left.
5 minutes. Okay. One more thing about Canva is that me and Bridget
Not you, like we.
are gonna design some templates for you that you can use. It's a project that we have on our to-do list,
We have a
and
lot of projects on our to-do list.
we do. But this one is for you guys. I really encourage you to just create a Canva account and just get familiar with it. We're gonna start sharing templates for you for just sold or just listed, and you can just change it and make it yours, change the colors. And I really recommend everyone have a Canva account. There's a lot of things for free, and the paid version has way more. Thank you very much. I hope geeking out was fun today. And
thank you. And then we're gonna take over the world. Thank you to the guest speakers today. That was awesome. Okay, so I might go a little bit over because I want to make sure we get to the sync stuff. You guys want to hear about my favorite app, or should I keep going?
I think we have Max one.
Well, I didn't even go yet. Rachel's competitive too, damn. All right, well, I'm gonna show you my favorite app anyway. So my favorite app is the snipping tool, which is great.
Yeah.
Does anyone use the snipping tool? It's like my favorite
That
thing.
thing's amazing. Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know what it is, if you want to take a little picture of Katya. So it basically enables you to take a small screenshot of just whatever the particular part on your screen is. So if like this morning, I sent them an email and I wanted to highlight one part of the spreadsheet. So I just snipped it. So that is my favorite app. And yes, you probably won. Okay, let me keep going. We have a couple more updates to get through. G Suite, we talked about permits. Oh, thank you. Oh, so this is actually Courtney's portion. These are some new, you want me to, I can talk about it if you want in the interest of time. I mean, not because you're long-winded, I'm probably more long-winded, but anyway. So this is a new feature that Sync is offering. Actually, I can't talk about it, I don't know what it is.
No.
It's called a market report. And and what's happening is everybody that was already in Sync, we put a label on, so that triggered that they're going to get a marketing report in 30 days. But going forward, every single new lead that comes into the system,
Buyer or seller?
Buyer or, well, the sellers, I have that in there next. But all the buyers will automatically get in 30 days from the date that they arrive, they will get a market report for the areas that they have specified that they're interested in. Okay.
Wait, hold
And
on. So that's only for company leads, right? If you import your own,
you would need to put the tag,
you need to
the
put the
label
tag
on the label. Yeah, it says market report.
Sorry, one more thing. So the reason why I think this is so effective is that if you're a buyer and remember, buyers aren't necessarily logging in today to buy tomorrow, right? They're logging in way in advance and they want to get a feel for the market. So this is a really great way for us to stay in front of them. And the market report, if you go back on the screen, like this one is the one in Marietta, Georgia, but if you like the ones I'm registered as a lead in here and I get one for where I live and I love it. It gives me an average of the prices in the area. It gives you the number of homes. It gives you all kinds of good stuff. So it's very relevant. It's very easy to read. And so these are all of if the leads are in your name and they're company generated, they're going to get this every 30 days. So it's an ongoing report that they will get no matter what. This was an option, by the way, that we opted into.
Right.
So this was kind of like
We had to turn it on. We had to turn it on. And this is what it's going to look like when they get their market report. It has your picture, it has a little message, and then a link that they click on that goes to the market report.
I just want to see if I can make it bigger. So what does it say? Huh?
In the top part.
So it says, hi, I hope all is well and that your loved ones are safe and healthy. Find someone new. Cool. So it's a link to the report.
And then, how do I go to the next slide? Okay. And then it's an auto track. You can go look at it and you can turn it on and off as well.
Wait, so let's talk about that for a second. Is there an instance when you wouldn't want this to go out to a buyer?
No, you don't always want it.
I think you pretty much would always want it on unless
they said, don't
unless
stop sending me emails and stuff.
So I don't know that anyone needs to really turn them off.
No.
But I wanted to make sure you guys know that it's there if you do want to turn them off. If they upload their own contacts, how do they turn this on?
They can add the label. The market report label, which is in the auto track section.
Yeah. It's in the auto track section. Okay.
Yep. You'll see it on some leads already because that's how we started it. We started it that way. Now, if you have a seller lead, it doesn't do it. Okay.
Can I pause right there?
Yeah.
It's pulling from the saved search area, right? The market report. So if you have nothing in that saved search area, if you import is your own, or perhaps a lead is like coming through an integration. If
Z
you
buyer.
don't have anything.
That's a
in
really
that
good point.
saved search,
That's why we put this
it
in.
will not send anything to them.
Correct.
So make sure
Right.
you do that.
So,
first.
so I just want to point out when it comes to the safe search situation, and make sure you change it, because I've seen notes in sync where the lead has said, I see the notes that say, oh, they actually don't want Boca, they want Fort Lauderdale, but then the safe search is Boca. And that means they're gonna get the wrong report. So you have to click on it's hyperlinked. If you click on it, it takes you to the page where you can edit the properties.
Correct.
What if there's multiple locations?
You can put multiple in there. You could just,
Okay.
you can like
Send separate
control,
numbers.
shift control like this, right? Or in the field, you can put like Boca, Boynton, Lake Worth, whatever cities you want. I don't know how that impacts the market report though.
Right, that's what I mean.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. They might be able, well, it's a link.
It might be a
they
summary
go
of
to a
those-
Link and maybe it gives them a little.
I mean,
bit
it's
of
all an
everything.
algorithm. I would imagine they would just take all of it and average, let's say Boca and Delray. Like what is the average for, maybe, I don't know.
If you guys are leads in here, then you guys will be getting those reports because we set it up with that label. So if you guys are a lead, go set it up so you can see in 30 days what those reports look like, what the email comes through as.
Well, you don't have to even wait though. You can also look and see what's going out to your clients.
But if you
It's
wanna
in 30.
test it, if you wanna test it in the text or whatever, there's a little thing that.
Yeah.
The tags.
Yeah.
that are already pre-done, and it says market report, and you could try it and
Yeah,
practice
you
with
can
it.
send yourself a test. That's
Or
what I
just
do.
copy, just click the link and it takes you to it.
So for
And
sellers.
when you insert it.
Input it.
So for sellers, yeah, you have to go where it says house to sell, you click and change that to yes. And then you put in the address into the info tab,
Mhm.
and then they'll start getting the reports too.
No, it's perfect. That is.
So you have to actually add the address
In
into
that
the
text.
info tab for a seller.
No, not on the left side, on the right side under.
Yeah,
that
right.
yes,
In the info tab.
And
Yeah.
then subscribe them, and get it on their property.
Okay, got it. That makes sense.
Yep. Thanks to Shayla. She's the one who figured this part out. Because she's amazing. Okay. Okay, upcoming events. We know this is happening.
So before I talk about upcoming events, I actually want to say another announcement, which is about like safety and security. We have a lot of new people here. Just make sure you're locking a couple Sunday and Monday, our doors were left open. So if you're the last one here, please double check. And there's a lot of doors. And these doors we don't really use, so you don't have to check these
Yeah.
doors.
I always check when I'm, like the last one, these doors sometimes are open.
Okay, so then yes, check every door and make sure, but our front door this morning was left open. So when I got here at 8 and our cleaning guy was like, Jordana, your front door is open again. So it's really bad. And just please make sure that you are locking up. If you need a key, Courtney has extra keys. There also is a lockbox in the courtyard. If you ever forget it, it's like bolted to the door. There's a little 4-digit code in case you need to get in and you don't have your key on you.
But if I can send them, I will send like just like something.
Okay, so as you guys know, with Realty Partners, they're once a month, they have a training. I had to confirm this one is still happening, but I'll put that link in the company calendar if anyone's interested in attending that. We do have our special guest host, Mr. Kyle Khan, is hosting our Power Hour. This is next Thursday or 2 Thursdays from now?
The first Thursday of September.
Which
It's next. Is it next?
I think it's 2 Thursdays, next week.
Well, Sunday is the 29th.
Today's the
so it's
24th.
gotta be-
Oh, wow. Time's flying. So a week from this Thursday is our Power Hour. I'm sure Kyle will make it really fun. And everybody will be powerful. Running out of juice. Okay, I think that's it. Did we get everything done? 11:33. Yeah, we sure did. Cool. Anybody else have any comments, questions, concerns? Let me read the chat real quick. Ivana is asking for the logo. Okay. Thank you, guys. That's all I got. Bye.
Randy's on his way.
Okay.
What's real?
One got a haircut.
Oh.